All right, so yeah, so guys, sorry, I had an interruption, but yeah, I'm good. So I was trying to tell you guys that this is the floating action button. The floating action button, yeah. This is the floating action button. And if you want to know exactly this is the floating action button, take a look at this ID. Take a look at this ID, guys. Then let me just take you guys to the activity main. Yeah, just right here on the activity main, ladies and gentlemen. On the activity main, then let's look at the floating action button has ID. Voila, it's ID fab. Fab. So no wonder they are setting a listener on this floating action button, guys. Yeah, floating action button is when they are setting the on-click listener. So let it not stress you guys. So let's just go back to our main activity. So I'm saying let this floating action button not stress you at all. Yeah, let it never stress you. So what we are going to look at is we want when someone clicks on the menu main XML files or these menus, when someone clicks on settings, when clicks on call, when clicks on SMS, when clicks on exit, we handle their listeners from the main activity. And here is exactly where we are going to handle it, guys. Yeah, as you can see, when we create the menu, we need to call something called a menu inflator. Then we need to load the menu main, and that's exactly what we have done. Our menu XML is called menu main XML, and this is what we are inflating here. And down here is on option selected. When we select any option, what do we do? When we select any option on options item selected. Yeah, on options item selected. When we select any item right there, guys, what do we do? Yeah, so we can even do a when statement. A when statement, like I said, we return when item ID, the ID that we are selecting. So when the ID is action settings, I want us, instead of just saying true, I want us to toast a message and say maybe something like, say, settings clicked. When we select an item like, say, the call, yeah, we select an item like, say, call, we simply toast a message saying maybe call selected, call clicked. Yeah, so right away, guys, let me just do away with this true kind of a thing, then do a curly bracket right there. Then implement when an item, when action setting has been clicked, what do? We toast. Let's just toast. Tor. Let's just tor. I'm waiting for the auto completion right here. Yeah, toast dot make text. Then the very first thing that we need to declare is the context. So the context is we are here. So we say this. Then the next thing that we need to do is, because we are selecting the text that it needs to be displayed on the toast is, you see, when we click on action settings, we want to say settings clicked. Then yeah, settings clicked. Then when we once we do that, we also need to declare the length of the toast. So toast.length, yeah, let's just use length long. Then yeah, we can simply say dot show. Then whenever this action has been selected, let's always return a true right down here. Yeah, this is just true like that. Yeah, we return a true like that. Yeah, so that is for the action settings. So let me implement the one for action call, SMS, then exit. So let me just paste it down here. So when this is action call, when it is action call, I can say call clicked. Then when this is action settings, no, when this is action SMS, when this is action SMS, I can simply say SMS clicked. Then finally, it is the exit one. When it is action settings, no, when it's action exit, when it is action exit, I can simply say exit clicked. Then I always return that true like that. I always return that true like that. Yeah, else just return the options item selected item. Yeah, all right, yeah. So just return and show, yeah, just show those items right there without doing anything. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, at least we have implemented these. We have implemented these. So the menu items right up there, guys, these menu items right up here. Right now, I'm very sure if we run this application and we try to click on each one of those, it's just going to toast. It's actually going to toast. Yeah, it is going to toast a message saying, when I click on settings, it's going to say settings clicked. When I click on call, it's going to say call clicked. When I click on SMS, it's going to say SMS clicked. And when I click on exit, it's simply going to say exit clicked. But that does not mean that that is the best way of how to do this thing. Is just to implement the listeners in this class. But ladies and gentlemen, you see, instead of just saying maybe call clicked, when we click on call, instead of just tossing and saying call clicked, you can literally implement the calling method right here. Or if it is sending SMS, you can literally implement the sending SMS method right here. Yeah. So probably if you're using Anchor library, as we've done before, just call the call property right there. It's going to work perfectly okay. Then maybe the exit one. So you can always implement the exit code. In fact, we are going to look at these, if not in this class, probably the next class, how to exit in an app, yeah. So, sorry. So, ladies and gentlemen, at least this section of the menu settings or menu items, when we run it, you will see how it's going to work. When we run it, you will see how it's going to work. In fact, these settings, blah, 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 blah. Now, one last thing that I just want to mention here is how we are displaying these items. You see, you might want these items to be displayed right here, but you want something like this exit to always appear right here, to always appear right there. So let's just switch on the text side of this, then enable that. So where is this? This is the exit one. So the exit one, we are simply going to say as show as action. Then instead of saying never, we say show as action always. So that when I simply switch back to design, right here, show as action always. When I simply switch back to design, you see exit is always going to appear right up there, guys. Yeah, unlike when these ones, you must click on these something right here, these three dots, you must click on it for it to show up right here. So the exit show as always, it will always appear right there. You can also choose to put all these menu items to always show up here. Yeah, though they are going just to align themselves right there. So ladies and gentlemen, yeah, let me just try to run this and see. Let me just try to run this application and see how it's going to appear. How it's going to appear. It's going to appear. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, it's working perfectly. So, ladies and gentlemen, one more thing that we want to look at in this class once again is let's let's just look at the main activity, the actually the content main, the content main. You see, right now on the content main, ladies and gentlemen, I have these hello first fragment, then there's this button next. When I click on this button next, I'm very sure I'm going to go to this second fragment right here. Yeah, let me just wait and see. Yeah, it's going to go to this second fragment. Then when I click on the previous button on the second fragment, I'm very sure I'm going to go back to the first fragment right here, and it's going to be displayed in the content main, definitely in the content main, in the content main, content main. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, our content main right now, the one we are meant to display stuffs on, it is having a fragment kind of an element. And this fragment, now just look up in the main activity. In the main activity, not really in the main activity per se, but in these fragments right here, in these fragments, like say if I get to my application, there's this first fragment. See, when I look at this first fragment, ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be to get the, like on this first fragment we are displaying something called fragment first. Then on this fragment first, where is fragment first? It's right here. This fragment first has got this button called next. Then if I just hit on text, right here, this button has got an ID called button first. So on the fragment first, no wonder we are going to this button called first. Then we set an on-click listener on it. Then once we set an on-click listener on it, we navigate to second fragment. Yeah, we are going to second fragment. Action first fragment to second fragment. That's how we are navigating. Then once we get to the second fragment also, when I just get to the second fragment, there is a way we are navigating from second fragment to first fragment. Yeah. And all these ones here are powered by a fragment. And this fragment is on the content main. This fragment is on the content main. And this fragment right now that is on the content main, ladies and gentlemen, it is appearing on the main activity. How is it appearing on the main activity? Because when I just go on my activity main, there is this line that says include content main on it. So that's how it's going to work. But in this class, we are not going to talk about fragments per se. We will definitely just be talking about activities. So in fact, in this class, let's just do what? Let's just do an activity. So let's leave alone with these fragments. I really don't want these fragments right here. Let me just do an activity. So let me just create a new activity. Let me choose an empty activity. Then this activity, I can just call it maybe second activity. Then yeah, let me just hit on a finish. Yeah, we're good. So that when I go on my content main, ladies and gentlemen, when I go on my content main, where is it? It is right here. When I go on my content main, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to work with this fragment. I'm not going to work with this fragment. Neither am I going to work with this first and second fragment, guys. Neither am I going to work with this first and second fragment. I'm actually, I don't know, first and second fragment, not second activity. I'm not going to work with them. I'm not going to work with fragments, guys, meanwhile. So let me just remove them. Delete anyway. Then I am not going to work with the fragment first and fragment second. I'm honestly not going to work with them. I'm not going to work with them. Let me just remove them. Let me just remove them. Yeah, I'm not going to work with them. So that now when I get to my main, yeah, everything is working okay. Then on my second activity, everything is working okay. Then on my activity main, everything right here is working okay. Activity second, everything right here is working okay. Content main, right here, everything is working okay. So that now, ladies and gentlemen, on my content main, let me just drag and drop a button, yeah, because this content main is what is going to appear in the activity main. Let me close this. Let me close this. Yeah, this content main is going to appear in the activity main. So let me just drag and drop a button right here. Then, yeah, let me just hit on design. Drag and drop a button right here. Let me drag and drop a button right here. Then this button, because I'm using constraint layouts, let me just constrain it like this. Then let me constrain it like this. Then let me constrain it like this. And constrain like that. Then let me give it an ID as maybe MBTN move. Maybe I'm moving to the second page or such like a thing. My button move. Then the text on this button is maybe go. Go. Yeah, this button is maybe go. This button is maybe go. Yeah, button go. Button go. Then right away, let me simply go on the main activity and implement the on click listen on this button called MBTN move. So on the main activity, right away, even just right after the fab, I can say MBTN move, waiting for the auto completions. Yeah, dot set on click listener, dot set on click listener, set on click listener. Then my intent equals to intent. Then I'm going to move from where? I'm going to move from this to where? To second activity. Second activity. Second activity. Class Java. Dot class Java. Second activity dot class Java, like that. Then I can start an activity with my intent. Start activity with my intent called intent. My intent called intent, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, so I'm very sure when I click on this button called MBTN move, it's going to go on the second activity. So that if I get to my second activity again, then yeah, on my activity second, I can implement another listener here, guys. I can drag and drop another button that takes me back. So let me drag and drop another button right here. Another right there. Then this button, let me just right away constrain it to the top, constrain it to the bottom. Constrain it to the bottom, constrain it to the left, and constrain it to the right. Then right away, I can give it an ID as MBTN back. Maybe I'll be clicking on this button to go back. Then right here, I can have maybe back. Maybe the text on this button is back. Yeah, back. So that, yeah, when I click on it, I can just simply go back to where I'm coming from. So that on the second activity, I can set an on-click listener on MBTN back, dot set on-click listener. Then this on-click listener, I can have my intent, which is equals to intent right here, ladies and gentlemen. Then this intent, I am moving from these. Then I'm going to my main activity. Going back to my main activity, dot class Java, dot class Java, class dot Java. Yeah, class Java like that. Then I can start my activity. Start with my activity with my intent call, intent, my intent call, intent like that. My intent call, intent like that. So that right now when I run my app, yeah, I'm simply going to move from, main activity right here, yeah, which will have the text go. Right now, guys, I hope you can now see it only has the text go, the main activity. Then when I go right there, I will, yeah, everything else is going to work perfectly. So let me simply try to run these once again, guys, so that we can see if we can go or and come back, as simple as that. So let me just try to hit this one here.
So in the last